There we go, guys. Have you got me coming through now? And then, okay, that's one of them. And then yours should be. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to. Sorry, guys. We just trying to get the other desktop audio. So I'm in audio input. It's done. Dave, yes, will know. Hang on. It's alive. Yes, we are live. Apologies, guys. We will. It's at 1 second. Window capture for well. I'm not sure. Yeah, just keep talking to me, and I will. I'm just trying. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I will get this for you in a second. I've got to work out why Will's audio. Let me bring in. Let me add another audio source, and let's see if that works. Audio input capture. Will can just nod and smile his way through. Yeah. Capture desktop audio source. Okay. Right, hold on 1 sec. Where's no? I just want. Apologies about this, guys. I've got generally no idea why I can't. Why we've got video capture webcam narrator. Org. Why is? I don't know why your one isn't. Yeah, I can hear you. That's what I'm trying to work out. Why it's not. Why I can't get you. Right, and output. Let's try. Keep talking, Will. Yeah, this is a bit of a weird one. It's why? Let me see if I can get your. Hang on, settings. Display is on. Capture method. Sources. I'll tell you what. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to do a browser source. I'll find it here. I'll find it here in a minute. What's really annoying? It's just 'cause I haven't done this one. I've done it before. I've had this working before. Videos are sound clear. Video game catch. No stream label. Browser source. Share a specific window. Hang on. All right. Discord. So we'll add a new source. Add. Right. I'm gonna try and add Will again. Yeah. Just like everything's unticked. All the right stuff's ticked. Apologies about it as well. What in our WhatsApp? Yeah, be clarified. Yeah, I know. Right, guys, you're going to see some live tech support going on here. Desktop audio is indeed unmuted. Yeah, it is unmuted. Yeah. That's kind of useful because I was looking at this bit. Right, here we go. So, have you got desktop? Yes, I have. 2 main lines should be desktop audio and mic input. Yeah, so mic input is there, and desktop. Yeah, desktop audio. It's likely you have desktop muted. I can promise you, unless there's a multiple one, none of them are muted. None of them are muted. Sorry, guys. I really apologise about this. I'm just. Can I change the source of the desktop audio? Properties. Off. Let's try. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. Headphones, speakers. It's desktop audio hidden on the left with an I symbol. That's a good question, Aidan. Let's have a look. Desktop audio, and capture. So window capture is. All right, I'm just going to try and re-add you. Well, hold on. Right, add a source. You are on. Will do some add a few things for me. Just make some make some bird noises. That's good. Okay, we're going to go down. The list here. All right, hang on. So this is audio capture 2. All right. Try again, Will. No. I'm looking because I can't see that's not going to be you.
Some more nurgling dancing.
Oh, hang on. There we go. I think I've just maybe. Did we just maybe get
got
it? Try again, Will.
Can you hear us, chat?
Yeah, I think that might have just fixed it. Let's have a look. Let's just wait and see, guys. Can you tell us if you can hear Will? Yeah, there we go.
Can you hear me there?
I have no idea why it's that setting, but it is on my setup. Do you know what it probably is? It's because I've just gone and bought this annoyingly like schwanky new mic with a preamp in it, and I think it's filtering through that. So, guys, massive apologies. We are here. So just 15 minutes late.
The joys of live. Well, they've been able to look at us for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, you have.
I've been doing some improvised nurgling dancing. It's been hopefully very entertaining. I'm sure people will come back next week just for more improvised nurgling dancing.
Will, just before we get into it, and I don't know why he's been a member for 2 months with broadcasts like this going on, but thank you very much to Olia for being a member for 2 months. Really appreciate that. Tech Wizard, Will, new Nick. Will, do you want to lead us in again from the start? Let's pretend like it's the beginning.
There you go, guys. Yeah, we'll just pretend the last 15 minutes didn't happen. It's been warp time, might seem like 15 minutes to other people, but for in our world it's been a split second with blink. That's all that's happened. Welcome back to another episode of Discussing the Resilient podcast. Just me and Dave tonight. Aidan's got some family commitments. He's just popped up in our WhatsApp chat to help us get that audio issue sorted out. And obviously, Aidan, are you doing it as well, Dave, tomorrow or Thursday when the balance state?
Yeah, I'll be joining Aidan tomorrow. So yeah, as Will just said there, it'll be Will and I tonight, and then we hope if we get Slatemas tomorrow, which should actually include rules, then Aidan and I will be on tomorrow night to talk about that.
Yeah, so tonight's episode, just a bit of a hangout, I guess, talking about what we kind of maybe wish listing some stuff from the slate, maybe some stuff that maybe some stuff that we think might happen to Death Guard, because I did notice an Auspex Tactics video where we talked about some of the armies in the game that perhaps need to look at, and Blood Angels and Death Guard were in there because we've consistently had a good win. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we're due some nerfs, maybe not. I mean, I feel like with the Codex so close, it's probably not worth them.
I agree.
But I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts, Dave? What are you?
I'd also like to apologise for the state of the room behind me. This is the suitcase room currently because we're on holiday on Friday, so it's a complete dump in here. So I apologise for that. I think, it's a weird one. I think I could see. It feels like we haven't had any real changes to our points or the rules for now a very, very long time, and so I could see them doing something. But to your point, Codex is pretty much around the corner, so either if we do get something, I suspect it might be just some points as opposed to rules. Plague Pest Crawlers maybe go down a little bit. That'd be good, but we'll see. But yeah, apart from that, I kind of agree with you. I think we'll mostly see some changes. Hopefully to Guard, to Bridgehead, hopefully to Slanesh Demons, which obviously with the Codex coming, perhaps that will get left, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think there's a few people riding at the top of the pile at the minute. Interestingly, if you watch Den of Fools recent videos, Imperial Knights are right up there at the minute.
Yeah, that's an odd one as well, isn't it? I've seen them do quite well. I don't know if they're considered problematic or they get looked at. It seems to be Imperial Knights have kind of had a resurgence with the help of Imperial agents.
Yes.
So I don't know if...
What you mean? You mean being able to put a 50-point unit on your home objective and send everything else out?
Yeah. Apparently it's immolators. Immolators are the big issue, because then you can take the War Dogs, I keep wanting to call them, or the Chaos ones. You can take the autocannon ones, can't you?
Yeah.
And then they've only got -1 AP, which is obviously a problem, but the immolator strips cover from people.
Yep.
Yeah, so apparently that's a big combo.
Interesting.
So I don't know if that'll get looked at, or that maybe simulator, because it is kind of weird that it does that. I always think, because it's obviously been written as a data slate with just sisters in mind.
Yeah.
So the simple fix is you just add strips cover for brackets keyword, and then they just add Imperial agents or Sisters of Battle, whatever keyword they share, and then it means those units can still use it fine. But maybe it's not synergistic with the Knights, unless of course they want it to be synergistic with the Knights.
Maybe they did.
Maybe this is maybe it's conscious.
It feels like they've been. It feels like Knights have been kind of hanging out in the wind a little bit for a while. So perhaps it's been a way to, maybe not intentionally, but it's kind of feels like it's kind of come in and really helped them a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's apart from that change that we've mentioned there. Yeah. I don't know if Knights need anything in terms of like a nerf, certainly.
No. I don't. I'm not suggesting at all. It was more of a throwaway comment that I'd noticed in a couple of their videos that suddenly Knights were up at the top of the rank.
Yeah, I noticed it on Stats Check as well. They sort of called it out too, didn't they? And said similar things.
Should we do a quick check in with chat and then just to say thanks, because there's quite a few people in here and I'm amazed everyone hung around, to be honest, with my fantastic editing and setup skills. But Warvane, Diggerdenton, Tell, Sir, Pluto Dubs, we'll read over there. There he is. He's just saying we're just going to be a few more minutes. Morton Brand, Oliver. Who else we got? Hosboss, KK Wilson, Derek, the Invisible Cactus. You're one of the only ones in grey in this list, so become a Plague Marine. And Will, what else can people do? Apart from being a Plague Marine,
they can like and subscribe.
They can. So make sure you do. Whether that comment is about how badly set up the first 15 minutes of the stream was, or how much you enjoyed Will doing Nurgling dances. Comments are always appreciated and do help the algorithm, so please do. Music Drive. Sorry, Will, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wonder how many people will comment in the first 15 minutes of their favourite episode. More content like that, please.
Would you know? Yeah, it's a shame. It could almost be a trick, couldn't it? We can almost have like the first 15 minutes of quiet and people for 15 minutes writing comments saying there is no sound, and then that generating comments themselves for us, which would be quite good. Gray, Music Drive, Tell, just seeing anyone else I haven't called out yet. Miguel, Jacob, 0311. Historitor Jim Elders, I'm amazed I said that right the first time. Theodore Delta, Tox Trio, Benjamin Davis. Guys, thank you all very much for joining us tonight. As I said, apologies about the beginning. Mikey just snuck in there at the end before I jumped off of that, so good to see you in here. You're currently picking up a carnivore or two. Nice. Well,
Ooh.
is it one? Is it two? 100%
It has
difference,
to be
one way or another.
minimum 2 if
Must
you're
be
buying it
two.
new.
Yeah.
Because they're coming boxed off.
Definitely must be. But before we go, maybe back into Slate, and then I think, Will, you've got a few maybe comments on some Emperor's Children stuff, which would be good to hear. How have you been? What's been going on?
Not a lot, mate, to be honest. I didn't play any 40k this weekend.
Okay.
I don't think I did anyway. If I did, that's worrying. I can't remember it.
Just blanked it out.
I think I was just watching the. Oh, we ran an RTT on Sunday. That's it. So I didn't necessarily play any, but we did. We did run an RTT.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. We actually met the gentleman from the channel came, and he was came and caught me at the end, and we had a bit of a chat.
Awesome.
I said I'd give him a shout out. Just going back to get the details. A gentleman called John Swift. It was lovely to meet him right at the end.
Amazing.
He's Ophanim in Discord, Ophanim.
Okay,
I'm not sure how you pronounce that. So again, lovely to meet you, and I hope you enjoyed the event.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've played a bit more Plague Storm actually since.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got my head around it a little bit more now, I think. I mean, so this is actually I've kind of it's not as smooth as I should have done. It does link nicely to the slate though. I have to say, at this point, having run Plague Storm, I don't think PBCs can come down without something else in that build going up and keeping it balanced.
I think that's fair.
I think that build is very. I think if that build gets one more hull or one more unit of chaff, I think that probably it might verge into the problematic spectre of things. Especially if the rest of the game comes down around it, I think it could go right to the top of A, maybe it's even sort of poking its nose into S tier.
Yeah.
But only that build. I think PBC's 180 points of what they do as a standalone unit in any other build.
Did you run 2 or 1 or 3?
So I tried 3, and then I cut it down to 2 to try 5 predators. Yeah. So the version I tried, I've been putting Rotigus in it.
Okay.
And I do say I have to really like in that build. Maybe this is more for me because I struggled with it the first time. So I've been putting Rotigus on the line.
Yep.
And then sort of making it so he's on the line but only in one firing lane. So then lining the rest of the army up to sort of like shoot into that firing lane.
Yeah.
So Rotigus is either a sacrificial lamb.
He's either drawing the firepower and
or sometimes just lives through it.
He lives through it, and then he just steps onto an objective. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's proved quite good, and because again he's really good at holding primary because he halves the opponent's primary and halves the move through the middle. You have to shoot him because it's like, well, if Rotigus is alive, I'm scoring two points of primary.
Yeah.
And he's much harder to kill for his points than anything else. So I found that quite good. But then I did play 1,000 Suns one where Rotigus just disappeared.
Just went away.
You've ever seen in your life. Just evaporate the dev wounds. But I quite liked it. I mean, what are you running at the moment, Dave? Are you also looking at Plague Storm, or have you been sort of toying with different things?
So just before I jump into that, I want to say, Brian Turrell, $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that. He said, won't get changes, doing decent win rate percentage in Codex soon. That's totally fair, and actually could completely be what happens. I think we're kind of hoping that there might be a little bit of something in there. Maybe there'll be some points adjustments, and that makes it easier for admin when the Codex lands, perhaps, if it's some minor stuff rather than just an army shake-up level of points changes. But we could see, and Fraser Law said, just got my first painted Lord of Contagion to start my army. Amazing. Welcome to playing Death Guard.
Welcome.
Yeah, Dax290 said, and this is a nice one. Hey guys, first time catching the stream live. Thanks for rekindling my love for Death Guard and 40k. Been playing Death Guard Combat Paw Patrol. That's my talking about what my daughter was watching earlier.
Definitely
it'd be Claw Patrol, wouldn't it? Been playing Death Guard Combat Patrol at my local store and having a blast. Really, really pleased to hear that. Thanks, and thanks for the kind words. And sorry, just before that, Historitor Jamalda said, I just got Rotigus, because you said that, Will. I thought I'd read that one out. And sculpted a new Defiler from clay, then added bits to it for like a spare Great Unclean One head. That sounds awesome. But as for me, I played the next round of the Crusade at my club, which was. Some of the games are mad, right? I know, Will, I send it to you in chat, but the scoring is pretty unlimited. Like, and so this was a bit of a mad one. The Imperial Army, it's on a full size board, had to start in a 24-inch circle exactly around the middle of the board, and then there was from the side, the edges, the midpoint on each edge in a diagonal, like a diamond, to the edge around that, and that was the deployment zone for Chaos. And Chaos basically had to deploy in there. The Imperials could only deploy in the middle, and the objective markers were Necron pylons in the story. And basically, if you went near them and you rolled a 4 up on a dice in your command phase, it was like Necron warriors were basically waking up, and you were taking damage from them. So you were taking D3 mortal wounds on a point you held if you did. And you could, as the Imperial player, keep units off, and you didn't have to deploy in all 4 bits. So it was quite, as the Chaos player, so it was quite a mad game, and it was quite fun. So I played Blood Angels, and actual Blood Angels, not bloodless angels. So I want to say thanks to Chris for playing a real Blood Angels list. But I basically didn't deploy in all 4 bits. I used some Nurglings to block out one corner, and then I deployed in the other 2, and then was like, I don't care if you want the other space. And the scoring got a bit out of control. It was 225 to 50, no, 215 to 25. But in the last round,
if you been saying that,
it was mad. If you held the middle objective at the end of turn 5, you got 50 points for it, and you could also choose one of your opponent's unit types, so vehicles or monsters or infantry or battle line. And unfortunately, he also had a ton of infantry. So if you chose infantry and they were battle line, they didn't count. But if you killed an infantry unit that wasn't battle line, you got 5 points per unit killed. So unfortunately, all of his stuff was non-battle line infantry. So in the final turn, I scored 95 points. It was pretty bad, but So, but it's been fun playing a kind of narrative game. I, to be honest, have been terrible at staying on top of the admin. I really haven't been doing it because there's just so much of it. So I've just been playing my list and doing that. But next Crusades game goes up to 2,500 points, and then there's one more game after that at 3k points. So the Porphyrion is coming out because he's in my big Crusade list. But
nice.
I did that. I went to, and I had my brother-in-law's 40th birthday on the weekend, which was really good laugh. So went to that and had a good time out in London, and that's been back to work. So yeah, all good.
Sounds really good. Sounds like a good way to play Warhammer.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun one. So but as soon as I get back from, there will be some chat on WhatsApp though, because as soon as I'm back from holiday, the next weekend is Sheffield. It's April 5th, 6th, isn't it?
God, yeah.
I am right. That is right?
Yeah.
Your face made me worried that I'd got it completely wrong.
I just forgot how soon that is.
Yeah, it's not this week. It's in 4 weekends times, including this one coming.
Oh right, yeah, because you're away for 2 weekends, aren't you?
Yeah. So don't panic, mate. It's not next weekend. It's not the weekend after next.
Yeah, when you said weekend after, I was like, oh my god.
So just on that quickly, do you think what you're thinking right now is Plague Storm still your probable list? That because I think at the moment I will probably take a version my take on Plague Storm, which is probably a few less. I probably won't take Annihilators, but I probably will put a Land Raider in there.
Yeah, that could be good. I mean, I think what I'll do is, because we've got the slate coming, I think it would be hard to make a call right now. If the slate comes...
I'm basing that on the slate not really changing anything significantly for us.
If that happens, I'd be tempted with Plague Storm. I would also maybe take Plague Legion. Like I've got a Plague Legion list I really want to try. You know, the Grotmus Nurgle Demons one. That might be a fun thing to do.
That could be fun, yeah.
Yeah, like especially if at Sheffield they've started doing Codex leagues. You know, if a week before Sheffield we haven't got a Codex but they're doing Codex leagues, it might feel a bit pointless to take Death Guard unless at the same time it's, you know, one last run out with the index. Yeah, but I am enjoying Plague Storm. I have to say, I have another list I'd like to try with a Land Raider, which I know you'll also approve of, Dave. But Plague Storm. Yeah, I don't know. It's now I've got my head round it, and I've started not just doing the same thing
Yeah, yeah.
for every army I play. For example, when I ran it first time, and it didn't go terribly the first time I ran it. I think in some
You said, didn't you say
senses,
you basically put all the guns on the line and were like, not like quite on the line, but you kind of lined the tanks up and then went, fine, when they come out,
well,
I'm going.
yeah. So on the long deployments, I think we did like Dawn of War equivalent. So I was like deploying to, I could attack all the objectives,
Right,
so
right.
I could get to the center. So they weren't like just on the line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
They were
yeah.
like,
No, I didn't. Yeah, quite mean.
yeah, but in a line. But yeah, and in hindsight, that's not the way to play it at all. Is you kind of just you start in a corner and move out. And also, I wasn't really paying attention fully to the value of how the different hulls interact in different matchups.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, so when I ran it at teams, for example, a game, the final matchup our teams won, we kind of worked out that they had 1,000 Suns list that no one really wanted, and then they had a Chaos Knights list, which I still feel that Chaos Knights are a kind of hard.
It is still a hard matchup. I agree.
Plague
Yeah,
Storm,
yeah.
If it's all War Dogs, I think
Yeah.
Big One's a bit different. So I wanted to avoid that, and then we basically worked it. So I took 1,000 Suns, and it didn't really matter in that one. It was kind of everyone else had to play one matchup. I just had to. I mean, if I got 20 old, we were going to win the round. And I played it terribly, though. I put the PBCs to go and attack the center objectives and like set Overwatch traps up and stuff. Whereas in hindsight,
just
I played
mortar things. Yeah,
again, you need to keep them safe.
You
and
just
just mortar
sit them at the back
away,
and just mortar off your scoring units, and then that's it, done.
Yeah, so I stupidly didn't do that. So it's one of these hindsight things. Now I've seen it.
Yeah,
but I tried the 5 Predator versions the other day. So the 3 Destructors.
Yeah, I played that one.
The 3 Destructors are so
They're so
valuable in
good.
every matchup. Yeah.
Have you been running Plague Heavy Bolters now?
I haven't tried. The last cannon
got-
to me,
you got to give them a go.
2. I wouldn't. So the 5 I tried. I would maybe try the Plague Heavy Bolters on the 2 Annihilators to sort of like mix up the profiles. But I felt with the Annihilators. So I did actually play Chaos Knights because my friend was borrowing my Chaos Knights for the RTT we ran. So we thought, well, we'll do it, and so we kind of like we coached each other a bit, because he's a good player as well. But I was kind of helping him with the Chaos Knights rules, and it wasn't as rough as I thought it was going to be. They definitely win the attrition game. It felt because, for example, like all their stuff 1 turns, all our stuff like a Brigand in Melter range 1 turns,
Sure.
or can 1 turn a Predator, a Carnivore generally 1 turns anything it makes combat with apart from Morty. Those kind of things. So it was rough, but at the same time, I was surprised at how much you could chip through the Knights. How much mortars added up and things like that. So I tried the 2, and I tried a version with 2 Annihilators, 3 Destructors, and then just cut into 2 PBCs.
Okay.
And that felt okay, but the Annihilators are weird. They're so focused, aren't they? But then
they've got one job.
Yeah, but then in the matchups where they're useless, I was like, well, they're probably just go on the edges, don't they? And they just go and play.
Yeah, you do. You just keep them in the back, use them as screening units as well, and just use the long range firepower to just, shoot at some elite units or something. But it is very dependent. I mean, in my Crusade game, I'm running 2 Predator Destructors with heavy Plague Bolters, and 2 of them popped out and deleted an entire max squad Death Company unit with Chaplain, with Feel No Pain. Just absolutely, just 2 of them wiped the entire lot out. And it was like, that was a 380 point unit, including the character or something. And they were gone from 260 points of shooting. And then that unit, that was like one of the big scoring units gone. And those Predators just sat at the back with range and just picked off every single scoring unit by just 10-inch moving back and forth, getting firing lanes. Whilst, I chucked a great unclean one into the middle with Plague Marines and just was like, cool, suck stuff into the middle. And then you have to come in there and then the Predators shoot whatever's left. It was kind of, I really like them, but I think you have to offset it with some other heavy hitting firepower. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, like we were saying, I think in the Plague Storm build, if you're going to go like, it's Nathan's version, really, which is all the hulls, because obviously Aiden's kind of softened it a bit and put in some Plague Marines. But if you're going to go all the hulls, then some of them have to be going and doing like, I don't know, like containment, for example. So I guess in that one, that's what the Annihilators would be doing, the push out and contain. And
did you have? So I put in mine. I run Cultists and Death Shroud as well with it.
So
I think I've got the Plague Bus in there as well, actually.
Because I've got Rotigus in mine, it's literally Morty Rotigus.
Nice.
One's got an Urglings They have to be then
Of course.
two cultists, and then it varies with the different hulls. But then it was 5 predators, 2 bloat drones, 2 plague burst crawlers,
Okay.
and that was it. Because the bloat drones were kind of fine with 2.
Oh, I think I've got one in there with a heavy blight launcher.
Yeah.
Just going to check back in with chat really quickly. Nogel Matthew, welcome in. Good to see you here. I hope you guys are doing all right. Mandy, lovely to see you. Glad you're a regular visitor in with us guys now. Raging Horn said, currently playing Pariah Nexus Crusade, just between me and a mate. It's fun. Characters and units starting to get bonuses, so cool. Prometheus Williams said, quick thoughts on Chaos Knights. Codex is near. Will we ever be these big knights again? That's a good question. And Hosboss said, Land Raider super fun with 6-star shroud. Will, as the resident knights expert within our little group, what's your thoughts on with the Codex near and our ability to use big knights?
Well, I heard at a UKTC, and this is just, I don't know if it's a hot take, I don't know if it's someone knows someone or someone's just heard a rumor, but someone at a UKTC reckon that knights are apparently the little one's going to go to toughness 9 and then going to get 4 more wounds. So I don't know if that's going to be true. But there was also a leak. You know how GW sometimes do the packaging mistake, where whether it's a mistake or not, I don't know. But there was one that turned up in China apparently, or Japan, and it's got like so it's a war dog sheet, but it had like 2 weapons that we didn't know. I suspect this is just a prediction.
Yeah, go on.
So the Chaos Knight Armiger pack, which we use for our war dog, Huntsman, and I can't remember. I always forget the iron one's called. We never gets used anyway. The Huntsman one. I think they're going to put a second sprue in that. Or the classic Chaos Rhino is just the Rhino with a spike sprue. Box. I think they're going to do a spike sprue because apparently it turned up with like different weapon names. So it might be the same weapons that they're just going to rename, or it might be a sprue with other weapons options and some spikes. And I wondered, because that kind of had popped up as an accidental, the new booklet was in with the old box kind of thing. I wonder if that's why the Chaos Knights magically disappeared from the roadmap. Maybe there's been a supply chain issue or something with that. So this is all just predictions. But I think for Chaos Knights, I just hope that they make them flavorful again, because they had a lot of flavor in the previous edition, and I like the indexed attachment. I also don't mind the Grotmus one, if I'm to be totally honest. Losing moving through walls, I think, is huge. I think it's like if you ever play Chaos Knights and they run through walls, like
when I use big knights, it's a kind of list. It's a great thing to be able to do.
Yeah, it's just so strong. And the thing that a lot of people don't realise with that particular stratagem is you can roll your charge before you decide if you want to play it, like say in the charge phase or roll your hands or whatever. So you can roll it. If you don't get what you want, you don't play the strat. If you do get what you want, then you play it to run through the wall. So I think the Chaos Knights thing, it's hard to say what they'll get, but I hope they keep something simply index attachments, so they don't change that too much. It is quite a good detachment, I think, especially now they've kind of like amended the way their kind of army rule works. But I don't know. So I mean, I definitely don't think they need any nerfs though. So if we move this to
they don't.
The balance states, I think Chaos Knights are just fine. They're a stats check army, and I think Imperial Knights, as much as we said with the win rate, are fine. But what do you think, Dave? What are some of the armies if you were GW or what are the top 3 armies that you think you'd like to see a change to?
I mean, I think Guard, definitely. They just seem to be brutal into everything. I think is a bit of an issue. That's my actual number one real main one I've got. I think I've got a problem with, just because I think no matter which people I know who play multiple different factions are saying, they're all asking, how do I beat Guard? So that's that's not a great place for the game to be. Whereas, if you're, regardless of which tier at the table you're at, I think in a tournament you could get that game drawn and just be like, you know what I mean? So I think I'd like to see some. I don't know quite what I would change in it, because I don't play Guard. I don't play it enough to kind of warrant to make some probably some good decisions for it. But I think GW will definitely be looking at that, because I think since that has been around, that detachment, it's just been stomping stuff. So
There's another one with guard in the waiting in the wings as well, I would say, because there's someone on our team who plays guard,
Okay.
and they've got a Bringers of Flame type detachment where
Yeah.
they can move a Turox to a wall with a redeploy as well. So it gets like,
and then you get everything,
like
get everything move,
yeah.
and you're all over the board. Yeah, it's
So basically, turn one, you can have a Turox in your deployment zone, looking behind your,
Yeah.
you know, behind terrain, and it's quite hard to screen out without just sort of throwing your chaff away and then going down on the sort of like the trading game. So I hope with guard they don't just look at bridgehead.
Yep.
They look at them on a whole and maybe it's like address some of the points. So I think the Turox like, they've got some like. Is it like 65 points or something?
What the transport? Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know points wise, but yeah, that's definitely the one. There's I think the other issue we'd be able to kind of like just flood the board with stuff straight away is if you're an army that relies on being able to deep strike or rapid ingress to get actual board control or presence, then you just remove that option from the player immediately. Like there's not even it's just like, oh, that might not even care. I may as well not reserve anything, at all. And I know there's certain games where you might look at the setup and just do that anyway, but it feels like that's kind of thing you'd probably have to do every game, regardless.
Yeah. I mean, they're indirect. They're indirect weird, and it's not great indirect, but like say in the Death Guard matchup, if they go first, you can just pick up all your cultists.
There's just a lot of it. Yeah. It can, like you said, you can just remove those, and then if you concentrate it enough onto other things after that, as long as it stays kind of relatively hidden, because you're going to be too busy dealing with other stuff in front of you, tanks and hardware, then you do just need to start to get chipped away out with it.
Yeah, so I think guard could get looked at in a few ways. But what were the two that you were thinking then?
Yeah, so Mandy was just saying, but isn't that on point with the guard theme though? And yeah, it is. I just think it can be thematic without oppressive.
Might just need a little bit less stuff. Maybe that would be.
Yeah, but like if you maybe you just have like you could just if you're taking, I don't know, like bodies, then like it needs to become expensive enough then that you can't also support it with tons of tanks. Like, or you still have some obviously, but there's got to be the balance. I feel like I feel like the couple of times I've been in the mix with it feels like they've got both, lots of tanks and tons and tons of infantry, and some of the tanks are very, very, very tough. Yeah, I mean, it could be just that they just die quicker. Whether that's toughness goes down or just they lose their saves, like to be just going to t-shirt saves, so that just more it gets into that bit more just mass infantry, but like a bit kind of bloodshed heavy.
The Rogel Dawns are really hard to shift as well, like almost oppressively so. I think they
get like 17 weapon profiles as well.
Yeah, they're weird. Half of them they're weird. The Rogel Dawns, because they don't have a lot of AP. It seems they shoot loads at you, and sometimes it feels like they're going to do way more than what you think. But then you fail a couple more saves than you're expecting, like a couple of unexpected ones, and they do just burn through your army. They're a really weird tank.
Yeah, I think Demons is another one that's probably got to get looked at the minute, just because it's. I mean, what was it last week? I was just trying to look up the 59.6% win rate. It's sitting in a place where Eldari were at the beginning of 10th. They're sitting in a place where Sisters were when they had their kind of bits come through. So I think that's a tough one. And then the funny thing is, if you go by the stats, then the third place one of last week was us.
Yeah, I think that's where we pop up. Although I do think
where are we? That was 53.9. But we've been hovering in between we've been bouncing between the kind of mid 40ish and then kind of 49 mostly, and then a creep up and a bit down. So I think it's just potentially the stuff on the other side of that. But it's looking pretty. The games, if you look at their kind of the Den of Fools stuff recently, you have every army bar Imperial agents ranging from 44 to 49 in the 40s band, and then it's only Eldari just over that, 50.4%, us, Custodes, and Imperial Knights in the 50s, and then you've got just below 60 Chaos Demons. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 6 out of 22, 23 factions that are above 50.
Oh, that's not bad at all. I mean, like we said earlier in the video, I do think that It's weird because the codex being so close with Death Guard, it kind of feels that anything they do is a bit pointless. So even if we got some nerfs, hopefully it will be negligible in the sense of like it won't matter because we'll get a codex before we get a next date slate anyway. So it's only going to be for a few weeks or a couple of months at most.
Yeah, we're in the weeks situation now. I think even if it's a couple of months away, it's 6-7 weeks away.
Yeah, but if they do anything nerf wise, I hope they do internal balance because
yes,
like we said before, like if the PBC as a standalone data sheet should come down a little bit. But if the PBC, say just the PBC came down and everything else stayed the same, I think Plague Storm hits problem territory.
Well, you'll see three PBCs in the list as opposed to 2. Like if it's because people will make that work.
This is it. And I think one more unit of cultists in that build is huge. I think it's one of these things where
they're so good.
Like, yeah, I think it's
every game. If I played it when I was playing at club with them, and people go, I'm like, right, well, they're coming out from behind the wall, and then they're scouting, then they're moving 6, and then I'm going to advance them, and I'm going to tail one back onto the middle objective, and then that was infected because and stickied because it was my command phase. And now you're the other side of that wall, which I'm now move blocking all your models from the middle behind, and you're in contagion range. So I'm going to ball blight that unit, then I'm going to mortar them. And you're like, that's with one 50-point unit, just did that. And there's 2 or 3 of them.
Even 40 points to get a unit of Nurglings, because I've been running Nurgling mine, and it's massive because they're just screened. So once you move out, you can just leave them behind. And they just stop.
You just don't care. Like, while they're out there, they're just,
Because as soon as you've got a hull in that build having to do an action or stand on your home field, it's one less shooting in activation. But as soon as you can shoot your whole army, I think it's because we're already seeing with the results of Nathan and Aidan and some other people that Plague Storm strong.
Yeah,
I think Ultramarines for me are the third army that needs some looking at because they are cracked.
I've got to read you just get your Nurglings ready, Will. Let me just find this WhatsApp because Strong Boy, Christopher Lata, has been a member for 17 months. So
oh wow,
you definitely need a Nurgling shake for that one.
He definitely gets a Nurgling shake.
Definitely does, and
he's a very strong boy.
he's a very very strong boy. And Mandy's comment was hopeful thinking here. Contagion gets a bonus 3 inches, denies deep strike, make it like Cloud of Pestilence or something. I think that kind of balances some of the bits we've been talking about recently in our wishes that Contagion does lots more debilitating.
That would have been a great one for the bingo sheet. Deep strike denial 12 inches.
Yeah,
missed that
actually.
That's a. We might have to make an amendment to add that on.
I've just got to see if I can find this comment from. Here it is. Where was it? This is he put. My buddy's playing in an RTT. Was like, this is what I just got. I got paired against. Marnius Calgar, Rebute, Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, Captain in Gravis Armor with Artificer Armor, Company of Heroes, Incursors, Infiltrators, 3 Ballistas, 3 Vindicators, and a Calidus, Double Oath with +1 to wound, reroll 1s to wound on a given objective every turn. Incursors give +1 to hit Ballistas, which rerolls hits natively. I'm like, the list just goes on and on and on with it, right? You're like,
and that's endless CP as well.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing with it. It's like it just does what it wants.
Yeah, and it's just it's just like, well, that's Oath and I'm rerolling that, and it's +1 to win, and don't stand on the objective markers, by the way, and I've infiltrated, and I've got
It's stupid. I mean, this is a hot take from another podcast because I listened to the stats check episode where Nathan he'd just gone 5-0 with Plague Storm, and he said the only list that he considers a bad matchup is the Ultramarine one. He said that was, I think he played Josh with it. He said on the stream, he said it had gone awfully. Which makes sense
completely,
because as soon as you got Vindicators winning things on 2, Vindicators pick up motive for fun in that build.
Vindicators pick up everything.
Yeah, I think the +1 to wound. So for me, this would be certainly a fix. I think then maybe you need to do something with CP regen on a whole.
I completely agree with that.
That particular attachment is an example of how egregious it can be. But I think on the +1 wound with Oath, I think maybe it should be infantry with weapons with the bolt keyword, like bolt gun keyword. I know that makes heavy bolters really good because we talked about this with a mate, and then he was talking about, oh well, was it intercessors? Well, I'll get intercessors out, that they'll be busted. I'm like, well, if they were busted, they'd already be in lists.
Yeah.
Like it might make them really good, but they're not as good as what people are taking right now. So like at least that would be the lesser of two evils for as a quick. Because the problem with because they're giving us a buff last time, they're not just going to take it away. This is a GW thing. Once they give it, they won't sort of admit fault. I don't think.
Yeah. Do you want to? I was going to say. No, I was just going to say. I think. Do you want to? Because I know you wanted to talk about some Emperor's Children stuff as well. Do you want to maybe in the last 10 minutes just jump into a bit of Emperor's Children, then we can.
We'll do some sign off. It's been a short episode, guys. We do apologise for that, but yeah, we'll do a bit of Emperor's Children stuff. So have you seen much Emperor's Children stuff, Dave?
I've been reading some of the stuff on. I've been reading some of the stuff on Warcom, but to be honest, I've just been a bit kind of madly busy with kind of work outside of that. So just certainly, will give me your hot take. I'm definitely interested to hear some more about it.
They definitely don't seem as strong as I first thought they did, because some of the army rules seemed a bit cracked, for lack of a better term. But then I've seen the context now of the units that get to use them, and that codex is like as restricted as World Eaters. Like they've got no units, and then the demons that are in there aren't really demons. So like what we thought about like the demons codex going away and then getting rolled into our books, that might not be as clear cut as. I mean, it might be that they're going to do it, and this is some kind of like, sort of easing us in. But it's not like you can't just plug and play them into any detachment. To plug and play, you still have to do it the way that we do it with Nurgle demons.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing with them is they just seem really restricted. They've got no long range guns. They feel a lot like Death Guard.
Yeah, it's fast guard.
Yeah, like I feel like us. I feel like everything happens in the kind of same like threat ranges, but they can close the gap, and they're the ones who can get in that threat range, whereas we're waiting for people to come to us almost. So that was kind of the difference. And they're obviously a lot more fragile. Not that we're particularly tough with the current rule set that we've got outside of a couple of Death Shrouds and stuff. But they just seemed a lot more. They didn't seem like. I thought they were maybe going to be like a Votan thing where they come in and they're busted strong. Like Fulgrim seems a little bit sad. He seems like he's more in line with Morty in terms of his damage output. And he doesn't really have Morty's defense or Magnus's defense to kind of like help him survive.
Right.
But yeah, I like the look of the detachment with transport. That was the one that looked the most fun. Because I could see I could run 2 land raiders in that as well. Because you can infiltrate, not infiltrate. So you can bring things in from reserve a turn earlier. So you can bring things in on turn 1. So I figured you could start 1 land raider on the board. A UKTC when you generally have that.
Yep.
Bring the other one in from reserve, and then you've got 2 shooting platforms, and then a few rhinos. I don't know. I haven't worked this out in points, but I might get a couple of Emperor's Children boxes.
Yeah. And put them on the pile next to you.
Probably, yeah. But there'll be no cheaper way. So if anyone's thinking about starting Emperor's Children, there'll be no cheaper way to start the army than with these
box
sort of
sets.
FOMO boxes. It's always the cheapest, best way, because a lot of those boxes inside, like the units will come out like 40 quid. Plus, there's probably, I reckon, once it's all broken out and sold individually, there's probably, say, 250 quid's worth of stuff in that box, as a rough estimate. Because the codex and the data cards will be like 40 quid each. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking I'll get a couple.
It's a good deal, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably sell one of the codex and data cards on eBay, and it will all just go in a pile. For the one day.
It's going to be. It'll be. I think I agree with you. I think definitely if you want to pick them up, if you can, getting a couple of those now, because then you can make up. We know it's an infantry heavy army, so that's definitely going to sort you out there. What I would say is what I think. I guess my limited view on them is particularly their advance and charging kind of abilities and kind of within the game is. I certainly think people are going to pick them up, and then if you're not a kind of pretty experienced player, I can see people really messing up I'm going to advance my whole army, I'm going to charge that, oh shit, I made that charge, now I can't charge it with anything else, and I didn't charge it with anything big enough to kill the thing I've charged it with, and and I fell back from that, but I can't charge back into that unit that I meant that was in front of me, and that's too far away now, or it's suddenly a 10-inch charge, and I can see people going really gung-ho with that army rule, ending up hanging out in the wind with loads of models in the open, and then just like getting gunned down. Because yes, they've got a lot of cool stuff, right? But they're still kind of Marines.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so weirdly, we need to see out in the like it looks to me like one of those codexes, because we've been quite lucky with our index, and I think it's because of the detachment we've got, where we are one of the few armies that has wildly different builds that all seem to be able to do well. Looking at the Emperor's Children book and the stuff I've seen, I have a strong suspicion it's going to be this is the build, because they're so like World Eaters, you know, this is the build. You know, you can maybe change a unit of like, I don't know, and probably in World Eaters, Emperor's Children, you don't even get the cultist. So maybe you can change cultist to a spawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, they look. I imagine there's going to be one build's going to come out and everyone just run that. But I think Death Guard's game with them might be quite good.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's be one of those weird ones where it's not like an auto win, but be like Chaos Space Marines, where two equal skilled players will be able to sort of have quite a good game where it'll be a bit cagey, but at some point when you engage, everything in one army can kill everything in the other army.
Yeah.
You know, we've each got kind of like some combat sort of like tricks. I think it'd be quite not a good matchup, but I think it'll be like a fun matchup for Death Guard players.
Yeah, I think it's a case of you can just get it. I think if you can stop them from getting into you everywhere early, then actually the hit back with something like, you know, Plague Storm and some strong or hard hitting melee infantry into them could actually be a very, very, very nasty counterpunch. So it's going to be an interesting one, but I'm looking forward to seeing what people come up with it. Just before we go, stay on that a bit more, I just want to jump in and say, Strong Boy, being a very strong boy with his $5 Canadian super chat. Thank you very much. He said, Will, I think in the context of Emp's Children, Fulgrim is a little overcosted, but very good. He provides a counter to other fast melee armies. So what do you think to that?
Yeah, I think that's probably also true. I think in the context of Fulgrim, it's just for his points. He kind of like, I think he should just do more. Like, he's kind of like where Morty was, maybe different points in the edition. Like, he's a Primarch, but I don't know. He just seems like he just needs maybe a few less points is probably all he needs, really. Like, I don't think he's bad. I
think we need to see, don't we? He hasn't been on the table yet, so let's see how truly savage he is or truly underwhelming he is.
Lucius is the one though that looks like he's good, but then Lucius has got like he looks like a weird one.
He's like 6 wounds, right? And kind of so it's not.
He's just power armor as well, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's not going to be unkillable, but. Even though he should be, because he's the Eternal. Just going to, because we're closing in on time, I'm going to shout out a few other people who said things. Yeah. Christoph says, do we think we'll get boxes for the other gods? Mandy said, no, actually the cheapest way is to wait for the metagamers to switch to another army and buy it all on eBay. Patience is the key. That's a very Death Guard approach. Just slow everything down and take your time and we'll get there. Digger Denton says, I think there will be quite a few 6 Demon Prince lists. And he also made a good point in that what I was talking about with their rules means that there's going to be a lot of tokens and a lot of headaches for people playing Emperor's Children on that front. Christopher Strongboy says, I think it's quite probable that the Primarchs might end up going to that power level. You think all of them across the board? Strongboy, is that what you're saying? He said they shouldn't really be auto take. So I think what do you mean? Like power points wise, they should all become kind of equally powerful in their ways, but also much more expensive, so that if you want to build something around it, you've kind of really got to make an effort to do that.
I suppose Fulgrim's a good example. I mean, Morty's probably right, because his defense is good.
Yeah.
He can't ramp his offense up loads, but I think his offense could go up like...
I don't know.
When it was, he just needs a little bit more offense and then a few more points.
Yeah.
Like I think we'd all happily... I think Fulgrim's 385. I think we'd all happily pay 385 for Morty if he kept all the defensive stuff.
And had 7 attacks.
Either got more attacks, or even if the big attacks he had, if he keeps 5, if he gets at the carnivore, like D6 plus 2 damage.
They should. Look, and we can moan about this all the time, but I still have a problem with this. One of the largest demon Primarchs with a 10-foot bladed demon infested scythe does like 5 attacks and 4 damage. It should be like it should just be like it should squash whatever like when it was 7 attacks with D3 plus 3. I'd be happy with it going back to D3 plus 3, to be honest. Which I would like to see, but I
mean that's a good call for Morty and stuff. But what else have we got in the chat? Sorry, I know.
Who else we got on here? A few more bits. Strongboy also says he doesn't think that they should be auto takes the Primarchs. Digger Denton said full grim suits the law being very self buffing. Yep, I totally agree with that. We said it in the previous stream. I'm a big fan of the way they've actually written the rules and the styling of the approach to be that they're all out for glory, they're all out for combat and single combat, and you get buff for killing things. I think I really like that. Chris Bailey says, I'd take Morty at 385 if he had that 2 damage sweep. 2 damage sweep would be great.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good call. And Strongboy again said, Morty going up with more combat at way more points. No way he's staying as is in the codex. I'd be overwhelmingly surprised if that happens. Yeah, I would expect some changes for Morty in the codex, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I mean we've done previous episodes where we sort of touched on this, but there's a few data sheets in particular we'd like to see change. BBC, Morty being, and Blight Lords being 3 of the kind of the main ones for us.
I can't wait for the bingo card event. That's going to be really fun to do because we've got everyone's names. So if anyone who watched this that hasn't watched the bingo card episode, go back and watch it because it's a really funny stream. But secondly, we ended up creating what started out at a 4x4 grid, which I think turned into a 7x50 grid, and where we got the chat to put in some fun things and some serious things. What could get announced in the codex. So do go and have a watch of that because we put everyone who suggested something in it, we put their name next to the box, and we are going to be going through the codex in our storytime read along episode, and we'll reveal, and we'll start ticking those off with Will, Aiden and I. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll have loads of codex content. Obviously, we'll start out.
Yeah, buckle in for the when the codex is out. We're gonna be busy.
Yeah, we'll start with just generic stuff where it's like man read books type thing.
Yeah.
But as we kind of get into it, we'll maybe do an episode where we each build a list for a detachment. Doing one each week, and then we'll talk about the decisions and the lists, and we'll get guests in. So yeah, we've got a really exciting time coming for Death Guard. As a whole, and and the game as well, I guess. I suspicion they're going to speed up the codexes because I think they're still going to reset the edition to 11th in the summer. But I think they're going to.
You think some of this year?
Yeah, that's what
I'm going.
If they're stuck to the original,
I think it's 26 summer.
I
see what you. If you go by the cycles, I totally get where you're coming from on that. But I think they've got too much to release within the proximity. I think we'll get it. I think we'll get like June next year. I think but. You've been around this a lot longer than I have, Will. So you know.
No, I mean, I think what you're saying would logically make sense, but sometimes I don't think you're a logical company. I think they might rush it all out, get in the summer to sort of do the usual stuff, but then port the codexes over into the new edition and kind of do it that way. So even the people who get caught at the end, that's my prediction. I don't think there's going to be a lot of refreshing model range. I think it's going to be after this. I think after Emperor's Children, I think every codex is going to get a character. I think that's what it's going to be like. The Chaos Knights one maybe be an outlier where it's an existing kit with a new sprue stuck in an existing box. I don't think it's going to be more exciting than that. But this is all speculation. I've no more information than anyone else. We're not under NDA anything like that.
I think I think the other thing that's going to be fun when the codex is out is I think we'll probably have to pivot Plague Surgery into something else, like I don't know. Combo Cauldron or something where we get like the community to come up with the combinations that we think Death Guard can rock and then just share them with everybody, and we can do some streams where we'll share everybody's thinking and like see if we and what we come up with as well and what we think are going to be strong combos. I think it's going to be a lot of fun period. It's going to be a fun period, people.
And also, go on the Emperor Children. But Aidan mentioned this in the last one. I haven't spoke to him directly, so this isn't something that we're confirming, but it does sound likely. So Sam Boardman is a very good player who lives locally. Apparently, he's going to mainline Emperor's Children for a number of times. So Aidan apparently has been speaking to Sam about Sam coming on and doing some either some solo content or maybe some sort of like occasional episodes where he talks about Emperor's Children and the meta, because obviously it's a new faction, there's no channel, and we know a few Death Guard players might sort of overlap, so we might sort of deep dive them a bit more with Sam's help, but we'll announce more about that once. I don't even know if I haven't spoken to Sam directly. This is something Aidan passed on.
Yeah, I think he's in the VT chat, and so I think he's definitely looking at doing it. And I think it'd be cool to have a playlist inside the channel where we can talk about that in the same way, Will, that when the Knights the codex comes out for Chaos Knights, we can start getting some of your content in there too, because then that gives us another couple of new bits, because there's definitely overlaps within those where we can see not only how to play against those armies, but particularly with Knights when we can soup them in. It feels like a good another piece of knowledge to share for our Death Guard community.
Yeah, once the Chaos Knight comes, we might do like a man reads book type content, and then, like I say, I'll switch to Chaos Knights exclusively for a little bit, and then we might invite some guests on. I know Adam Camilleri has obviously interviewed Aidan a few times, so maybe Aidan can ask him, because I know he's a Knights fan through his content. Maybe he can come on and do some guest stuff with us, and we'll kind of try and expand a little bit into that and see if we can get like a Chaos Knights corner, something along those kind of lines, with different sort of imagery, so it's clear to people.
I just had a logo flash up in my mind, which is Chaos Knights, but not with a K, NIGHTS, like in an 80s style font. I think that'd be great.
Oh, nice! I like that.
That'd be quite funny.
Yeah, so we've got loads more coming, but obviously, like and subscribe, guys. We appreciate everyone listening. We know tonight it's just the two of us, but again, it's kind of a stream, because we know the people are tuning in regularly on Tuesdays. It's kind of a part of people's week now. They look forward to the episode, so we wanted to keep it rolling, even though Aidan wasn't around. And also, it's one of these things. It's a bit of a lull in content. Obviously, we've got Emperor's Children dropping officially on the box is out. They're not officially tournament legal with the way it works. It's not until the book comes out separately that every tournament will accept them. Some will accept them prior to that, but it'll be limited events. But talking of the Emperor's Children box, so Element Games have sold out on their website.
Beat me to that one. I was gonna do that.
Yeah, so they are sold out on the website. So the shop itself has 40 copies coming into the Stockport store. It's a franchise now, so each store get different ones. There's store in Sheffield, Nottingham, one opens in London, one opens in Newcastle. So pop into the store, just because it's sold out online. If you didn't get one, you might be able to get one there. And I know that they did hold some stock back for the website as well. I think they held back 300 boxes to make sure that they could sort of fulfill some people on the day. So if people are looking to get an Emperor's Children box, get there early, because it is sold out everywhere online, with the exception of stock has been held back. If you do, use our affiliate link. Even though it's not Death Guard stuff, obviously we still want to support Chaos as a whole. We get a little kickback here at the channel, and helps us to keep things going, especially with the codex coming. That'll help me, Dave, and Aidan get our new codex and a new character model. But Dave, and I know he's not here to sort of back it up, but if I wanted to get some coaching, obviously I'm getting better with Plague Storm, but I've still got ways to go. Where might I go to get that kind of that help?
You can head on over to Vanguard Tactics. You can find links in the comments below, where there are masterclasses. The academy is just opening up again, so there's a limited number of player spots you can go into. Use our referral link; it helps out the channel, as Will said. There's tons of free content on their channel as well. Go check them out. They're closing in on 100k subs, pretty within, I think by about June they're going to be at that. I think it looks like, which is pretty amazing. And also you can check out me playing on the channel a couple of times too, if you want to have a bit of a laugh with Death Guard on there. And then I think you can also, to make sure you're moving your tanks properly, Will, people can head over to, I believe it's saltiregames.co.uk. Yeah, they're, I've updated a website link in the chat below for this stream. So please go and look at those guys. They make Disgustingly Resilient branded playing aids, so 9-inch deep strikes with the curved kind of end to make sure you can drop in where you like, ways to keep track of which round you're in, CP counters, all that kind of stuff in a little kit. So do go check those guys out too. And I can tell you that as a bit of a world exclusive, we the Baron of Dice Death Guard, Disgustingly Resilient Death Guard dice have been they've shipped some to me, which I'm then going to send some to Will and some to Aidan. We're going to do some photographs of it, bits, and then they will go back to the guys over at Baron of Dice, and they will be online. They've been shipped. They are in transit from America, so they shouldn't be too long before they're here. And then as soon as we get some photos done and send them back, they'll be live and you guys can start buying them. There are at least a couple of thousand going to be stocked initially, so be great for you guys to kind of go and show your support for that. Look out for some content on here, on social media, on the Disgusting Resilient channel, on my Instagram. Our channels where we'll put up some images and video content for you. So I think that's most of our plugs, but do like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate all the support, guys. We're at now 9,059 subs. So it's going.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for doing it. And some of the reactions to, not just those. Thanks for watching the shorts, and thanks for all your comments. We do read them all. We do look at them, and thanks for all your commentary tonight and joining in. Everyone who super chatted as well. Thank you so much for that. Very kind.
Yeah, so I've got one more thing just to plug. This is a
Go, Will.
personal thing again, linked to my team, Team Stonehammer. So as you mentioned in the episode, we did have an RTT. We hosted Element Games in Stockport, Manchester, this weekend. We do have a GT coming up, so a 2-day event. To be a bit more competitive, and that's on the 12th and 13th of April. Also, Element Games in Stockport. So, if anyone who listens wants to come down, Aidan will probably be playing in that. He every time you win an event, the podium people get a free ticket to the next one, and I think Aidan's paid for one ticket in about 10 events. So let's put it that way. So, yeah, so
I think after a while you should just ban him.
Yeah, that's it. We might have to put a limit on it. He's like an alcoholic. You've had too much, mate. Have a break.
You have to pay.
He's drunk on winning. Yeah. But yes, that was a cheeky one, and also we do have some clothing and stuff linked to the channel as well, and that link's available in the video description of the channel homepage too, where you can get t-shirts and things. You can be the 11th Occultist, Plague Bus t-shirt design, and a few other bits as well. But I think that's it, Dave. Unless anything you can think of.
No. Thanks for hanging out tonight, Will. It's been good to see you, and apologies to everyone for being delayed at the beginning. I've got a new mic set up, so unfortunately I had to mess up the Will's audio coming in. But yeah.
And of course, one more thing before we do the final sign off. As we mentioned again earlier, for the people who are perhaps listening now or tuning halfway through, stay tuned for notifications from all. There's a good chance we'll be going live, or Aidan and Dave will be live tomorrow or Thursday, depending on the band status late drops. So hot from the press, those guys will be breaking it down, giving you the Death Guard spin on things and how it affects us. Yeah, and I've got a Poxwalk at Plague Me an episode for linked to Manchester GT. It's pre-recorded. Aidan sort of does graphics and things for them, so that'll be dropping sometime as well. So we've got loads more content to come, plus anything else that Aidan and Dave have got planned. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one, I guess, guys.
Yeah, so as Aidan would say, stay rotten, everyone, and we'll see you next time on the Plague Planet. So take it easy.
Subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. Will, see you later.
See you later on, guys.